And when I opened my doors, 406 people joined. I was hoping for 100. My husband was like, "What's your goal?" I was like, 100. I would be really happy with 100 people. And in 2 weeks, I kept the doors open for 2 weeks, 406 people joined, and my entire mind was blown. Welcome to The Creative Bodega, a podcast about content marketing, Instagram growth, and personal branding for female service-based solopreneurs who want to grow their business without letting it take over their lives. I'm your host, Em Connors, and each week I'll share actionable tips, expert advice, and unfiltered truths to help you create engaging content, connect authentically with your audience, and turn followers into loyal customers, all without the burnout. If you're ready to simplify your content creation, navigate the ever-changing trends, and build a business that works for you while staying sane in this crazy season of life, then you're in the right place. You guys keep asking me, what should I sell? What should I offer? What product should I make? How should I price it? Should I start with a membership? Should I start with a signature course? I mean, listen, I get it more than you know. It is insanely overwhelming deciding where to start in your business, what to offer first, second, third. How do you get there? How do you know? I'm going to be real with you. I am not a product offer or pricing expert. I'm honestly far from it. I feel like I keep saying that on this podcast. What's wrong with me? But when it comes to things like email list building or pricing or products, I'm really not. It's not my niche. I do not post about it. You're never, ever, ever going to see a post in my feed about how to price your offers or how to come up with an offer. It's just not my thing. But I have figured it out as I've gone, and I've landed in a very beautiful place. So I clearly know something about it. But what I am really good at is showing up consistently, listening to my audience, and creating offers that convert, because I've built them step by step, not all at once. And I think that's an incredibly important lesson, especially if you're feeling overwhelmed. In today's episode, I want to walk you through how my entire offer suite really came to life, and it went through many iterations, and it's still going through iterations. From my $197 Canva crash course to branding your business to a $97 a month membership community. So this episode is for you if you're feeling overwhelmed by all the advice on pricing and offers, if you don't really know where to start or what should come next for you, or if you've thought about launching something, but you're second guessing yourself every time you go to take that first step. I'm going to share the real messy, very, very imperfect journey that I went on to build a product suite that feels really good to me, supports my audience, and doesn't burn me out. So before I keep going, I want you to know that I'm putting all the notes and all this good information inside the show notes on my website. Go to thecreativebodega.com/blog/11. Okay. So let's get into the common struggles. Offer creation, pricing feels huge to many people. It's super scary to sell. You're looking at what other people are doing and you're feeling behind in your journey. You're hearing that you should maybe start with a membership or start with a signature course, but you're just feeling stuck. Here's what no one really tells you, even the pricing and offer experts out there. It doesn't have to be perfect. There literally is no such thing as perfect. My 8-year-old son actually came into my room this morning. It's one of my favorite times of day. I could be one of those people that gets up at 5 a.m., you guys, but I lay in bed until almost 7 because I wait for my kids to come in. They actually wake up and the first thing they do is run into my room and jump in my bed. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's the other, sometimes it's both. But I just love our little quiet conversations under my covers, snuggling with my babies while they're still willing to do that, So I don't get up early to work. No, I'm not doing that. I lay in bed and I wait for them. And he came in this morning and he said, "Mom," first thing he said to me, "Mom, is there such thing as perfect?" And oh my God, I'd give anything to know what he was thinking about before running in my room or what happened to him for him to ask that question. And My response was no. It's all in the eyes of the beholder. And he said, what's the beholder? And then just, we went from there. But it was just such an innocent, beautiful conversation. And there is no such thing as perfect. I don't have the perfect offer suite, far from it. But everyone can start, and you can start small, and you can build your confidence, and you can absolutely evolve your offers over time. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing every day. Not every day, every month. I'm kind of reevaluating what's working, what's not working, what's missing, what needs to be retired, and I'm talking to my closest advisors about it. So I want to kind of break down step by step how my product suite evolved over the past 4 years. So when I decided to make my first online course, and that is how this whole journey started, I knew I wanted to build an online course. I mentioned in one of the episodes that I've done so far that I wanted to talk about something that I could talk about in my sleep, like lights me up, never get tired of it, and solves a problem, right? That's sort of like where the special sauce happens. You have an area of expertise that you can talk about that lights you up and that solves someone's problem. It's just a beautiful thing when you get the intersection of those three things. So I knew that I wanted to talk about branding and Canva. So I decided to build a course called the Canva Crash Course to Branding Your Business. It was a mouthful, but it's actually quite clear in what we were doing. And I decided that I wanted it to be 4 weeks long. So one thing that I see people do that is just not the best way to go is by starting out with some monster course. I'm talking like a 10, 12-week course, right? Number one, it's going to take you forever to make. Number two, the proof is not there yet that this is going to be a success. So in my opinion, you go smaller. You do a 2 to 4 week type situation. You take one first section of that bigger thing you want to teach eventually, maybe in a signature course, which to me, a signature course is 10 to 12 weeks long. And you just teach that first part in 2, 3, 4 weeks, something less than 4 weeks, in my opinion. So I knew I wanted it to be 4 weeks. And the first thing I did was I created an outline. Like that's kind of my first step in everything I do. I just need to map out what process or what order am I going to teach this in that makes the most sense. I am kind of strange in that once I have my outline, I find a slide deck design template that I like in Canva and I start making slides. I don't write out scripts. I don't do any of that. I actually build in everything I pretty much want to talk about into my slide deck or my presentation. And if you've ever seen me give a presentation, like I'm pretty much reading from the slides. That's where I'm comfortable. I don't want notes anywhere. I don't want to get confused. That's just how I go. And even in the slide deck slides, I sort of, I'm kind of putting bullet points about what I want to talk about, but then I can it jogs my memory and I can freestyle from there. So anyways, I decided on a 4-week course and I knew that I wanted it to be priced in a way that felt good for me. And what did that mean? I'm terrified to sell. So I needed it to be low. I needed it to be something that I would consider paying, right? And this was 3 years ago at this point. 4, you guys, I'm so bad with dates and years, but 2021, 4 years ago, it's 2025. So I priced pre-sale. I sold it a month beforehand for 1 week pre-sale. I did $197, which makes me want to throw up right now because it was 4 weeks of lessons, my feedback, a community, oh my God. And then I did regular sale $297. Again, this is what I was comfortable with. Clearly, round 2, I doubled the price because I needed the feedback. I needed to see that what I was teaching worked. I needed to hear from the students that they had a great experience. Once I had all of that social proof that, I had a good product, I was way more comfortable charging what it should have been in the first place. So round 2, I did $297 pre-sale and then I did $397 regular. And I still sold out. But this time I had all the testimonials and the social proof from all the women who were inside. So first round, I got 45 students and I made just over $12,000. Okay. And I was beyond thrilled with that. Again, you've probably heard me say I was posting for 6-7 months on Instagram with no offer. I just was building the wait list, like this is coming. And I started my email list pretty much at the same time. Maybe I only had my email list for about 4 months. I probably started posting on Instagram and then started my email list about 2 months later. And I have a great episode on starting an email list and how scared I was and that I did it anyways. I'll link that in the show notes. But I finished that course, okay? And the second round, I don't know what I made. I'd have to look it up. It was more than $12,000 though. I know that. Probably 20 something thousand. And my first year in business, I think I made about $50,000. Okay. That was like where I ended up in the second year of business. And I was fine with that, to be honest. I was still working. We still had our gym and I was still mentoring other gym owners on how to grow and market themselves on social media. So this was sort of like extra money at this point. So once these courses were done, I reached out to a number of students who really followed through, who did the work, who were a pleasure to work with. You know what those are called? Your ideal clients. Okay. They were my ideal people. And I said, would you get on a call with me? Because I just want to hear about your experience. And this was about 3 or 4 weeks after the course wrapped up. So I got on a call with 6-7 people and they just were raving about the course and this and that, but they still had a problem. They still weren't posting. And I was stalking all of them. So I was waiting to see their feeds come to life because what I taught them in the course was how to come up with their branding and then how to edit and find and create reusable templates inside Canva. So it really was a design heavy course, but they still weren't posting. And that's really was what drove me to be like, can we get on a call? Like what's happening? I was waiting to like watch all of your feeds come to life and 2 people are doing it. So turns out they all said, I just don't know what to post about. I'm not finding the time to post. I really need to learn how to batch ahead. And I was like, ding, ding, ding. My sister course is coming to life. Like I know how to do that. I do that. I batch my content ahead of time. I know how to come up with posts. I have a structure for it. I can teach that. So my second course was born and it was called Batch Like a Boss. And more than 50% of my students from those first 2 rounds of the Canva Crash Course of Branding Your Business joined Batch Like a Boss, which was another wonderful boost of confidence for me. Like they enjoyed their first experience. They liked working with me. They found a ton of value in it and they were ready for the next step. And so that was Batch Like a Boss. And it was a super fun course. This one I actually made 6 weeks long because I just felt like I needed some more time. And this is where we're diving into content pillars and posting schedules and finding reusable templates. And it's just like words, captions, headlines, way more in depth. And so I made it 6 weeks long and did the first round and it sold out. That was priced at $399 pre-sale and $499 regular, I want to say. And again, this course was 2 weeks longer. I felt really good about that pricing and it did really well. And it absolutely taught people how to batch content in advance. So that was year 2. I ran the Crash Course to Branding Your Business twice. And I ran Batch Like a Boss twice. So that was 4 times launching in the year. And after that course, everyone was asking me how to start an email list and how to start a newsletter like mine. So basically what happened was inside Batch Like a Boss, I was recommending to all the students that they need to promote their freebies. So I gave them all these templates to promote their freebies. And everybody was like, I don't have an email list. And I was like, scratch the record. What do you mean you don't have an email list? And lo and behold, out of these 40 women that I'm working with, like 1 person had an email list. And I was like, no. Like you need to have this email list. So then I made my 3rd course And that was called How to Start and Grow Your Email List from Scratch. So now I have 3 courses. They are all taught live, and there's only so much time in the year. And I kind of panicked. I did the Start and Grow Your Email List, was 4 weeks long. And when you look at the calendar, you guys, there just wasn't enough time in the year to launch all of them. And I knew I was going to burn out if I continued launching all of them. So that was year 2. And in the very beginning of year 2, I had a reel go viral in January, and it basically exploded my business. I mean, I think I gained 60,000 followers in 3 weeks. I'm not even kidding. It was one of the most overwhelming experiences of my life. I had just cracked 10,000 followers in December, right around New Year's, actually. And I was so proud of myself. I had worked so hard for 2 years to get to that 10,000. And suddenly I had like 70,000 followers, and my DMs were out of control. And I could not keep up with the comments on my posts. And it was incredible because I actually had some instant access courses to purchase. I had a course called How to Make 30 Days of Content in a Day, which was $49. And I had my branding boot camp, which was $79 at that time. And people were just buying them left and right. I made about $35,000 in that January when that reel went viral, because people just showed up and they started buying everything. I don't think, I mean, that doesn't happen today. Like, again, this was a few years ago and online courses were just huge. And now, unfortunately, people have sort of ruined it for the rest of us, those that don't deliver or that overprice their stuff for what people are getting. And I think people are a lot more wary, or they've realized that they've purchased all these instant access courses and never actually do them. So that's a whole nother topic in and of itself. But because I had those instant access courses, when my account blew up, people had something they could buy immediately. It wasn't just join this wait list, you know what I mean? Which was awesome. So my account was primed and ready for this influx of people. Maybe not the part where I'm having to reply to 200 DMs a day or 500 comments a day, but the part where they could go to my website and they could purchase something that was under $100 instantly. That was there and ready, and purchase they did. So now we get to this point where I have too many live courses. Honestly, I have 3 live courses and I want to do all of them. And my account blows up in January and everyone is DMing me. When are you doing your next course? When are you doing the email list course? When are you doing the Canva crash course to branding your business? When are you doing Batch Like a Boss? And I felt like my heart was going to explode. I was like, I don't know what to do next. Everybody wants everything right now. And, the courses weren't really set up to become evergreen. They were very live taught. And I love live teaching. Like, I actually love working with a group of women over a certain period of time and really getting to know them and their businesses and giving them great feedback to move forward. And I just didn't want to turn all these amazing courses evergreen. I just didn't feel like people would have the same amount of success because they didn't have that accountability and that feedback from me. And I think that is a huge part of joining a live program. At least one of my live programs is I do get to know you. I get to know your business. My eyes are getting on every single weekly piece of homework that I've asked for from you, mine or my co-coach Steph, who is just as good at what I do, if not better. And that's the accountability that a lot of people need to get this stuff done. And they see the other students handing homework in every week, and it makes them, whip their little butts into shape and get the work done. So I reached out to a friend of mine and I said, can you hop on a call with me? I don't know what to do. Everybody wants everything right now. I don't know what to do first. And so she basically was like, combine everything into one huge signature course. Not huge, but just combine it. Do a signature program 2 times a year. Like, that solves your problem. And I was like, oh, that's great. But when I really thought about it, the email list building part didn't really make sense with the Canva branding and batching. It felt a little disconnected. So I decided to combine the first 2, the Canva crash course and the Batch Like a Boss, into one 12-week signature course. And I had built in some time in there. Like I think there were like 2 weeks where they got off so they could catch up if they wanted to. So it was really like 10 weeks worth of content. And I sold out the first time I ran it. And I gave anybody who had done either or, like if you had done Canva Crash Course to Brand Your Business and you wanted in because you wanted Batch Like a Boss, I gave them 50% off. Or if you'd done Batch Like a Boss and you wanted to kind of backtrack and do the Canva Crash Course, I gave them 50% off, but only for a limited amount of time. So, oh my gosh, that first round was incredible, but we had people all over the place starting at all different points. But then when I ran it again in the fall, it was just beautiful and fun, and people got great feedback and they got great results, and they set forth a goal and they accomplished it with the help of my direction and my feedback. And that felt really good to me. And those launches, I want to say the first time I launched, it's called IXCC now, the Instacanva Collective. That's the 2 courses combined. And I want to say that the first time I ran it, it was $1,500 for 12 weeks. After, again, I always price things the first round very low. I just go low. I just need to. I need that confidence boost. And I got it. They had an amazing time, and everyone was saying, there's so much value in here. I would have paid 10 times as much. I actually had someone say that. I would have paid 10 times as much for this course. And I was like, holy shit, I got to raise the price. That's crazy. And that was the general consensus. So the next round, I raised it by $500 and I priced it at $2,000, and I stopped doing pre-sales because it just was like launching twice and it just felt like too much for me. And so I cut that out and I just launched one time for 1 week, and the price was what it was. And I think I added on like a bonus of some kind, and it sold out. So I wish I had the numbers in front of me. I want to say the first round of IXCC, I probably made about $70,000. And the second time I launched it was probably about the same. And then the third round that I did, I increased the price even a bit more, and I made $97,000. And I mean, like my whole world was just like, at this point, we had closed our gym. This was 3 years into my business. The gym was gone, my mentoring job was gone, and my husband then left his job. I think after that, like those $70,000 launches, he was kind of like, can I leave my finance job that I don't like and do my own thing? And I was like, that's terrifying to me, but sure, go for it. So again, that's another podcast in and of itself, but we're going to have him on the podcast one of these days. I'm going to figure that out. It'd be fun for us to sort of go back and forth and talk about our different experiences on the other sides of our lives. So yeah, so that's where I ended up. And I ended up turning Start and Grow Your Email List evergreen for that 1 year. I just was like, if you want it, it's there. I lowered the price a lot because it was evergreen, and I just focused on IXCC. So at the end of 3 rounds of IXCC, nobody wanted the community to go away. And they would beg me, please, you don't even have to reply to us. I just, I've made such good friends with these other people, and the support is so great. And I just was like, I can't, because I can't not engage with you. And I also can't just have a community that's free. That's just not fair for me and my time. So again, after 3 or 4 rounds of IXCC, it suddenly felt right, and after those first 3 rounds, it didn't feel right to start a membership. I just wasn't there yet. I didn't even know how to wrap my brain around that, or I didn't know what it would look like. And then after the 4th one, I was like, I can see this now. I have so many incredible women, and they deserve a space to all come together and lean on each other and not do this alone. And I want to keep supporting them. And that's one of my favorite parts of my job, is giving feedback and helping people. So the Content Coven was born, my membership. So I want to just recap real quick. Started with a 4-week course, added on another 6-week course after that. Then I did a 4-week email list building course. Then I looped the 4 and the 6-week course together, and I combined a signature course. I ran that 3 times, and then I decided to start the membership. I didn't start with a membership. I think a lot of people see what I'm doing and that monthly recurring revenue, which is beautiful and amazing. But I didn't start with a membership because I didn't have the community that I think you really need to start a robust community. I had to run my signature course 3 times. I had to have that proof that this was something people wanted and needed. And it also had to feel right for me at the time because I was being asked for it and I wasn't ready. And I trusted my gut and I said, not now, but maybe in the future. So the Content Coven was born last April, is about a year ago by the time this episode comes out. And when I opened my doors, 406 people joined. I was hoping for 100. My husband was like, what's your goal? I was like, 100. I would be really happy with 100 people. And in 2 weeks, I kept the doors open for 2 weeks, 406 people joined, and my entire mind was blown. And it just was proof to me that this was something that was really desperately needed in the industry, a safe, supportive, engaging, creative space for female solopreneurs, with me kind of at the head. And a lot of people are like, I just want to hang out with you and I love being in your world. And that's just like one of the best compliments I could ever hear as a creator and a small business owner. It means the world to me. And so here we are. I am now running IXCC once a year in January. I run a 4-week program in September. I'm probably going to do Start and Grow Your Email List or something else. It's sort of fun for me to not plan that. I want to see where the wind takes me and see what I want to do in September in the fall. And my membership is open year round and I'm going all in on that. That's where I'm spending my time. That's what lights me up. That's what feels good. That's what's getting people results. And it just makes sense for me. I started the Content Coven at $47 a month. That was the founding member price. It's way too low, to be honest. There's an entire curriculum in there. So there are 3 modules with lessons. It's basically like an online course built in. There is community access 24/7. There are weekly calls. I give bi-monthly presentations. We have bi-monthly guest speakers. It's a lot of value. So I jumped that up to 77, 3 months, 4 months later. And then I've landed on 97. And that's what feels good for me. I feel good showing up. I feel good asking for that price. I know how much value is in there. And if you take advantage of it, it can completely change your life and your business. So that's where we are. And I'll tell you what, launching 4 times in a year was not for me. And I see people do it. And I'm like, good for you. That's amazing. Like it's not for me. It takes too much bandwidth. It's too draining. And launching twice, maybe 3 times a year max is what feels good. And in my year, my calendar is broken up into 3 sections. It's the winter, spring, so January through May. My kids are in school and I can tackle a big, longer course. So right now, IXCC is 8 weeks long. I can do that. The summer, I don't launch anything. I want to be with my kids. I want to go on summer vacation. I don't want to worry about a darn thing. So basically from June, July, and August, I'm chilling. I'm showing up. I'm sending my newsletter. I'm doing my podcast, but I'm not launching anything. And then September comes around. I like to get the kids into school, get them settled, and we don't start until after Labor Day. So it's a pretty late start. And then I'm ready to launch something like the first week of October. It's go time, October, and I absolutely want to wrap up whatever I'm doing before Thanksgiving, because for me, from Thanksgiving till Christmas, New Year's Eve, I'm pretty much off again, meaning I'm not launching anything. I'm enjoying life. I'm being more present. I have time to Christmas shop, like all that fun stuff. That's how I break up my year. So again, I didn't have an outline for this. I hope this has flowed in a way that makes sense for you. A lot of people just ask me, like, how did you end up where you are? What did you do first? What did you do in the middle? Why did you do it? What did you price it? And that's the breakdown of honestly what I did. I didn't work with a coach on any of that. A lot of it was listening, watching what other people were doing in the industry, and doing what felt good for me. And that's still kind of how I roll. I know when something's not right and not feeling good, and I can't live that way. So I'll do anything I need to figure out why and revamp or re-strategize. And I kind of feel that coming on the horizon right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm feeling a little itch to revamp things. And I don't know what that means or looks like, but I'm talking to people, I'm writing things down, I'm journaling, and I'm going to figure it out. And yeah, I think that's all I can do at this point. I'm not going to panic, and I'm also not going to make any crazy big decisions on a whim. That's not my style. I like to sit and dwell and ask and talk, and I'll get there. All right, friend, that is what I've got for you. Some major takeaways. Don't start with a huge course or a full-blown membership, maybe. Start small, get proof, let it evolve from there. Listen to your people, hear what they still need. Make sure they had a great experience in the first place. Price it at a number that feels good for you and raise it as you grow, as your confidence grows, as your audience grows. And pay attention to what your audience is asking for. That's where your next offer lives, in my opinion. If this episode has helped you feel more clear or less alone in figuring out your offers, send me a DM at thecreativebodega.com or shoot me an email. I am the only one that reads my inbox, Emily@thecreativebodega.com. Let me know what you're working on. I would love to cheer you on. And if you're looking for some ongoing support, strategy, and a community of female service-based solopreneurs that literally just get it, come hang out with us inside the Content Coven. You don't have to figure this all out alone. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. That's it. I hope you enjoy this episode. I hope you guys have a beautiful week. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on the Creative Bodega podcast. If you love this episode, please be sure to share it with a fellow solopreneur who could use a little content creation inspiration. And hey, don't forget to check out the show notes for any resources I mentioned on the episode to help you create content that feels easy and actually gets you results. If you want even more Canva and content tips, head over to my website, thecreativebodega.com, or find me on Instagram under the same name. Until next time, keep creating, keep showing up, and most importantly, try and have a little fun with your content. I'll see you on the next episode.